Before compost bins and liquid fertilizer jugs, before garden centers sold bottled microbe boosters, there were brews. Not the kind you drink, but sacred infusions made by hand, from plants, fruit scraps, and the ash of old fires. These weren't just fertilizing concoctions, they were offerings poured onto the soil to awaken the underground ancestors. Earthworms, fungi, and ancient microbial allies were called back to life with ladles, not labels. Today, many gardeners search for the next quick fix to revive lifeless soil. But what if the solution doesn't come in a box? What if instead it comes from 3 humble brews and a forgotten way of seeing the soil as something sacred? In this guide, we'll walk you through a true backyard experiment done on 3 raised beds using 3 different ancient-style liquid infusions. Each one was poured with intention, and within days each bed showed signs of transformation. Most notably, earthworms returned, drawn to something they recognized deep in their evolutionary memory. Let's explore these 3 earth-reviving brews: compost tea, fermented banana water, and the ash and herb infusion. We'll cover the principles behind each method, how to prepare them, how quickly they worked in our beds, and why the indigenous perspective of pouring life into the soil could be the key to fixing our dead garden beds. The first raised bed received an age-old preparation known today as compost tea. Long before aerated buckets and fancy air stones, indigenous farmers brewed it in clay pots. They soaked compost, leaf mold, or worm castings in water, not to dissolve nutrients but to wake up microbes. So, to make this brew, we added 2 shovelfuls of forest-rich compost into a 5-gallon bucket of non-chlorinated water. We stirred the mixture twice a day by hand for 48 hours. No pumps, no tech, just water, compost, and movement. Once ready, we poured it evenly into the raised bed, especially around the root zones. Results came within 3 days. The mulch layer began breaking down rapidly, and by morning of the 3rd day, tiny tunnels snaked through the topsoil. The second bed was treated with something stickier and more fragrant: fermented banana water. This brew has deep cultural roots across tropical farming systems, where it was used to restore overworked land with fruit-based ferments. High in potassium and sugar, it's an easy recipe to stimulate fungal life. The third bed received the slowest acting yet most restorative brew of all: a mixture of wood ash, medicinal herbs, and molasses. This was our version of the fire tonic used by indigenous growers in temperate regions. This brew may not lure worms instantly, but it heals underlying soil structure. The minerals from ash and plant compounds quietly neutralize acidity and nourish microbial life slowly. Each method attracted worms, but at different rates. Compost tea brought worms within 3 days. Banana water took around 6. Ash infusion was the slowest, taking more than a week, but its effects lasted longest. If your goal is to jumpstart worm activity fast, compost tea is your best choice. These aren't just garden hacks, they're rituals. When you make these brews, you're not just mixing ingredients, you're invoking a way of growing that respects the underground world. Each pour is a handshake with microbes, a whisper to worms, a signal to fungi that the feast is ready. Always pour slowly and intentionally, preferably at dusk. Let the soil drink it in without stress from sun or wind. Cover the soil with mulch afterward to hold the moisture and protect your microbial allies. These 3 simple pours aren't magic, but they work like magic when combined with patience, care, and the intention to feed what lies below. Indigenous traditions didn't see soil as dirt to be managed, they saw it as an ancestor, a being to be nourished, honored, and revived.